Wow, but we're going to try to go. So give me a minute. All right, there go my beep. All right, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. How y'all doing over there on my Instagram? I got on my horn rim glasses, but this is my old prescription, so I really can't see at a distance. And my niece just made this hat for me. I asked her to make me a hat, and she stayed up and made me the hat. It even got. I asked her to put some bonbons on it. See if I can get my bonbons. And she even got my bonbons on it. So listen, I'm happy as can be. Let me put it this way. Yeah, that's how I want it right there. And I'm different, so I like different things. I'm going to get her to make me a sleeve the same as the hat. You can contact her for prices, or contact me, and we'll get back to her about the prices. So I thank everybody for tuning in on Instagram. We're also live on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different platforms, 3 Facebook pages. We're live on LinkedIn. We're live on YouTube as well as on Twitter. For those of you who did not know, we had our 5th annual JuneTeenth festival in Sugar Hill, South Carolina on June 17th. I did a presentation at the JuneTeenth where I had a picture of a young brother that was murdered, Sleep. He had a company called Sleep Vision, so we call him Sleep. That was his name. I met him at an event. He was taking pictures at my event without my permission, and I chewed him out like, hey, you don't step over another person's event like that. If you want to take pictures, you ask me. And we got along great after that. So I had a picture of him out there because he was murdered, but he was the first person to actually talk about Juneteenth at our very first Juneteenth event in 2018. When I was out there on the field, Saturday, I said that Patrick York and the GDs, Growth and Development, Gifted Dreams, myself and Sleep, headlined the first 2018 Juneteenth. I left out someone. Fat Jack's Social Club was also a part of that. Fat Jack's Social Club was also a part of that event and sponsored the event in 2018. And I think Patrick is still posting up clips from 2018. So I want to thank all of you for tuning in. This is Jamil Salib Zamir out of Manning, South Carolina. Please stay tuned. We're going to be coming right back to you with a lot of things that I said out the event, why I said what I said, and where we must go from here, and a few corrections and a few apologies and a whole lot of thank yous. So please stay tuned. After this break, this is a commercial from the No Ego Custom Brands Groove 19 Promotions. These are paid spots. If you would like to have a spot, even when I put my own self on a video, I pay myself. So this is how we do it. I chose this today, and we'll be right back. For Instagram, all you can do is hear it, but please stay tuned, share, like, and share. Let's complete what we started. And that's what we're going to talk about, completing what we started, when I get back. Okay, I'm taking pictures. I'm trying to, it's called tethering. I'm trying to tether the camera to the computer, and in order to take a picture. Bring your neck out a little bit, don't tuck it so much. So I'm tethering to the green screen so that I can take pictures on the green screen and actually try to create a, if you think you should, actually try to create a photo booth where you take the picture, shoot it straight to the green screen software, then you put the background to it, and you'll be able to, we also going to have a printer over here, but the printer's not here yet, and you'll be able to shoot it right to the printer and print it out. So you're trying to be efficient quality wise and time wise. Oh, that's your color right there.
Got everything covered?
Yeah.
You filming?
Was it bright?
Yeah.
All right, Groove 19 Promotions. Thank you all for tuning in. This is Jamil Saleebs Amir out of Manning, South Carolina. As promised, we would come back on with you. If you like this hat, it also has the bonbons on it, 3 of them. Bonbons. My niece made me this hat. I just picked it up today. I love it. I love it. Asked her to make it for me last night, and she made it. You could contact me if you would like hats. I'm getting a sleeve done too. We're going to get right into the topic because we have so much to talk about. First, I want to say this about Juneteenth. Juneteenth is a federally recognized holiday, but Juneteenth is not a state recognized holiday. South Carolina does not recognize Juneteenth as a holiday, just as South Carolina does not have a state hate crime bill. There is no hate crime bill in South Carolina because of all of the violence from the slavery, the violence from the slave master, from those people. And I spoke with someone at a council event, white man, and we started talking about God in front of another person. And he said to me personally, in South Carolina, we did so many evil things to your people here. And then he repeated it again. We did so many evil things to your people here. Then he started talking about trying to redeem himself in hopes that his children does not have to suffer for what they did to us in South Carolina. So when we're talking about Juneteenth and celebrating what is considered to be a period of freedom for our people, in Galveston, Texas, is where General Gordon Granger came in 1865 to read Proclamation number 3. That said that they must free us, because in 1863, after the Emancipation Proclamation was written and documented and signed by Abraham Lincoln, the people in Galveston were fully aware that they were free. They were fully aware of that, and they fought for their freedom. But in Texas, the free slave labor was making so much money that they refused to allow the slave to go free. So the slaves are fighting, but they're not strong enough to beat the Texans. You understand? General Gordon Granger came with 2,000 Union troops, black and white, both black and white. But our people were fighting for freedom already. Some were getting away and some were not. When General Gordon Granger came with the Proclamation number 3, announcing that the slaves must be free, that wasn't the end of it. Some of the slaves understood freedom and they left. Some of them didn't have any place to go and didn't know what to do. So what they did was they stayed behind and kind of like hung out at the stores and hung out in the fields and did nothing. Sound familiar? How we don't take advantage of freedom because we don't know what to do. I'm coming to a point. Stay tuned with me. It's not going to take long, about 30 minutes, because I'm tired and I got to explain a few things, thank a few people, and ask a few questions that may get answered and may not get answered. But God willing, it'll be done in about 30 to 40 minutes. So now you have these people standing around, walking around. So the people of Texas asked that another law be put into place that anybody standing around or not doing anything must go back into a servitude slavery to help them get the cotton out of the fields. It was a $2 billion or $2 million a year investment in free labor. So they didn't want to let blacks go because we were making so much money for them without them having to pay us. Some of the blacks went away and started what we know as Black Wall Street. Many others bought a lot of land. As a matter of fact, where they celebrate the original Juneteenth in Texas, they call Freedom Park. The slaves bought, I think, I'm not going to quote it, but I think 100 acres of land or less. And they still have the festival on that land till this day. I want to make this clear to us now. And I'm marking out things as I go along. Juneteenth is not a state holiday in South Carolina. So we need to start petitioning our representatives. Although I don't believe it will ever be considered a state holiday in South Carolina, we still got to make it known that we are fighting for that, right? Just like the hate crime bill has not been passed in South Carolina because of the level of hate in South Carolina. So what we did out there in Sugar Hill, and I believe was one of the more meaningful and organized and purposeful events that was held in remembrance of Juneteenth. Because we wanted the day to remain focused on the purpose and not partying or drinking or smoking marijuana, but the purpose. Now, here's the thing about myself. Since my surgery, I suffer from memory loss. I suffer from temporary amnesia that comes on just like that. If I get in a stressful situation, it comes on just like that. My wife and son were supposed to be at my nephew's graduation party in Savannah. But because I went into one of my spells of forgetting, they chose, and I thank them for it, to stay with me and help me at the event. If you notice, she was right next to me at the tent, and my son was right beside me the whole time. When that happens to me, I forget a lot of things. Sometimes I'll go and drive off and I don't remember where I'm supposed to go to or how to get back. Unfortunately, that is one of the effects of being put on ice for over 12 hours in ice, packed, literally a machine making my heart beat. So I lost a lot of my memory, and I lost one lung. I only have one lung. I said that for a reason. We're talking about Juneteenth. I thank everybody for tuning in on Instagram. When God gives you life, when God gives you an extra opportunity to come back and do better, you must put all of your energy in doing better. You have no time for trivialities. You have no time for trivial stuff. You have no time to be playing childish games with adults. No time at all. If you like my hat and my bonbon, my niece just made me. She knit hats. She personally hand knit this hat in a day and customed it the way I wanted it with the bonbons. 3 of them. If you like it, get in touch with me. She's going to do me a band, wristband, and an arm covering too. There were 5 Emancipation Proclamations. The one that was accepted was the one by Abraham Lincoln. He was trying to save the Union, not necessarily free the slaves. An option was on the table that the slaves could be free, but they would have to either go to Barbados or Haiti or Port-au-Prince or Jamaica, but they couldn't stay in America. I talked to you about Haitian Jack and Denmark Vesey in Charleston, same church that the murders happened at there. But Denmark Vesey started the revolution so that they could get back to Haiti, or that they could get back to Jamaica, the islands. But Denmark Vesey was ratted out by someone that he trusted. I'm coming to a point about the event on Saturday. When you are trying to build something and people are with you, but on your efforts to build, they're doing something else, in the long run, it's going to cause the situation to not be as great as it could have been. Now, I want to thank Shelton, Conyers, Patience. Without them, I don't think there would have been as many young people out there. For all of their hard work, we worked together. Shelton, Patient, Catrice, Antoine, myself and Greg Martin, Greg and Barbara Martin, my wife Barbara, and my son, and all the other people who took that flyer, the flyers that were created, and shared them and passed them out. It was a community, literally a community effort. And for that, I sincerely thank all of us. And I thank God for allowing us to do it. Now, here's the thing. Anytime there is something great that is going to happen, God will assign you a devil. That devil may be a one who calls themselves a friend. That devil will be around you. That devil will be close to you. That devil will want to be accredited for your success, but he will talk about your failure. It's happening to Boosie, little Boosie right now. Someone that he trusted videotaping him with a gun when he's already a felon and now he's locked up. Happened to Jay Moran as well. There's always a devil. Every level of life, you will be assigned a devil. And that devil and their silver tongue can destroy a great thing very quickly. So I had 5 rappers on the performance, 5 rappers on the performance, and another gospel group that didn't show up. But 5 rappers. And the whole time I was promoting this event, I said all on one stage under the tent. Do y'all remember seeing that? Under the tent? Rap and gospel under the tent. But the day of the event, all of a sudden, the rapper's supposed to be over here on a trailer. That's not what we agreed upon. When you are in an organization, and I'm coming to a point, if I need to call your name, I will call it. Trust me, trust and believe. Trust me, I will call your name. But I am using the example of something that we must stop doing for greater success. There was a God purpose to have the rappers on the stage with the gospel singers. If you don't know that purpose, if that wasn't your calling, you should not interfere with that. This wasn't a backyard cookout. This wasn't a party event where everybody roll up weed and get down. That wasn't this. This was a celebration of unity, togetherness, one mind, the same frequency. And if it were not for God's mercy, he actually split the vibe down the middle of that field and stop the negative energy from coming from one way to the other. Somehow, none of the rappers showed up to the tent except for Tebow, who did gospel rap. Shouts out to Trapped Out Freddie, who did come to the side of the tent and tell me he felt a little funny about being salute. But I did that by God's permission for a reason. Now here come the daddy side of me, because I'm a father first. You cats, y'all are not making any money off of this music that y'all are doing. None. Y'all are putting out money and giving away CDs. I got a 16-year-old son. He's on his second house music CD. His first one, he made over $1,000 from promoting and soliciting the way we put the blueprint. Y'all ain't never made $1,000 off y'all records. Never. The second one, he'll do the same. While we were out at the event, somebody was calling him, telling him, no, they were calling him on Friday at the JuneTeenth in Summerton, telling him how impressed they were with his music. And they shoot money to his Cash App. But God told me to put that together. Allah said to do that. and you all interrupted it because somebody whispered in somebody's ear. That's how the devil works. Now, we've been planning this thing for a month or so. Greg and Barbara Martin agreed to leave their expensive tent on that field, literally for me and for us. They didn't have to do that. That saved us thousands of dollars. James Conyers allowed the tent to stay on his property. Miss Et allowed us to be on her property. That saved us thousands of dollars. Greg Martin built a power panel and plugged it into James Conyers' home so that we could have power, saving us thousands of dollars. All of the graphics, all of the promotions, all of the traveling, I did it. My family did it, saving us thousands of dollars. $1,600 to be exact. The porta potties, the police officer, the horses, the decorations. We did all of that as a family. Didn't nobody put no money in my hand for that, and y'all know you didn't. All out of pocket. The contributors put money in my pocket, not the people that I called their names. The contributors did, gifted money for that event. I don't have my list, but I did call your names out there at the event. My wife told me that I did because I don't remember much of what happened out there, believe it or not. When you plan something, stick to the plan. You don't undermine the people that you're working with for somebody who don't have nothing to do with what we're doing. And somebody whispered in somebody's ear. I know it. One of the DJs didn't show up. Two of the gospel groups didn't show up. And all 5 rappers did not come under the tent. But through all of that, we had to keep the spirit high and keep going. So I was out there in hunting clothes because I was working that morning and I had intentions of coming home and changing. But because people didn't do what they said they were going to do, I had to stay in those hunting clothes with a bandana on my head through the whole thing. Now I'm going to say this to you young people. You all are too smart for your own good. And it's all right that you don't like me. I'm a father. I play my position. I'm not a slider. I'm not a gangster. I am a father. I am a father to any girl or boy I see. Because I did not have a father figure in my life and I knew what I wanted from a man, so I give it to everyone that I see. All that God has given me, I give it back, right? I share it. So I had every right to stay home because I was out of my mind, literally. But my family stuck with me and we made it out there. And we worked from 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 10, 4, 5, 6, 12 hours. We were out there. 12 hours. Not to mention all of the man hours we put in doing everything else, the sign and everything else. We wanted to do that for the community. I'm coming to a point. You young people, y'all don't want nobody telling y'all nothing. A person like me, you find a way to hate me because I speak firmly, but I speak truth. And not only do I speak truth by God's permission, I will tell you when I'm wrong. Quiet is kept. While me and Greg and Pastor Baxter was setting up that morning, we had a disagreement. A disagreement while we're setting up. But Greg didn't take his microphones and say, hey, man, give me my mics. You ain't talking on my. He didn't take his tent down. I didn't stop designing and putting together. We continued to work because It was easy to solve a disagreement. And we still like that right there. But somebody slithered in, and I'm going to tell you, young people, especially those of you, Shelton and Patience and the others, the rappers, Brian McKinney, Trapped Out Freddy, Skinny Sosa, One Shot and Merc, and who was the other one? It was another one. Who came on last? I can't remember his name. You all have children. Imagine telling your child something that will save their life or better their life, and they won't have to go through difficult times. And you tell them that. And they say, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. We understand. We'll do it. And the minute you turn your back, they go against what you say. And you thinking while you at work that they're at home doing their homework, but the police call you and say, no, your child is dead. Not my child, because my child is home. No, they're not home. They lied to you and did what they wanted to do behind your back. You see how that disrupts the whole space-time continuum of what is planned? That we are going to collect money and put the money together and pay off everybody? When you don't follow the rules that are set down when a man is looking you in your face, and we looked each other in the eyes, don't expect any better from the people that you think should do right by you. Your children will disrespect you when you disrespect other people. That is how God works. It's if there's a problem with working with Jamil, say so. We don't want to work with you, nigga. We don't like you. I can deal with that. I'm tough. A little bit. Not like y'all tough. Y'all just don't care about nothing. But I'm tough enough by God's permission to deal with the person not liking me. But each one of you rappers had an opportunity because the elders stayed up under that tent after the gospel, waiting on you all to perform, and you did not perform. Then we're packing up at 4:00 and people are still coming out asking me when the rap gonna start. What are you talking about when the rap gonna start? Then I asked one of the performers, what happened? Oh, I heard we were supposed to perform at 6:00. Who told you that? The flyer said 11. Then we agreed 12:30, me, Patience, and Shelton. How did it go from 11 to 12:30 to 6:00? Who changed it? And why we didn't know about it? We were working together. When I say I'm going to do something with someone else, and you should think the same way, because I said we were going to have horses by God's permission, but the people that I wanted to, that I tried to hire, they were too expensive. And then they said they couldn't do it. But I said we're going to have horses. So I started mentioning that we need horses. And Miss Yvette Samuels said, wait a minute, let me make a phone call. She called the MLK Riders, Princess Lane, I think that's her name. She called me right back, told me the price. I started counting up my pennies. Come on. The day of the event, she was out there. And she left. And she called me when she left and said, listen, we are having problems with people who don't pay us when we bring out our horses. If you could cash out me the money, we going to get something to eat. We'll be right back. I said, I don't have cash out, but I got cash. Come back. She came back with 3 horses. Beautiful day. Beautiful day. But I'm telling you this because you don't know what goes on behind the scenes, what a person has to deal with. And then I had to be the MC with a confused mind, sweaty, hot, and did not get to change my clothes or nothing. But that's what you do When you give your word, you keep it. But if you feel that you can disrespect someone else and break your word, when your children break their word, don't get upset. That's how God works. That's what children are. They are a reflection of the things we did right and the things we did wrong. You all were supposed to perform on that very same stage. It was not a surprise because the whole time I was advertising, I said rap, hip hop, and gospel under the tent. But you found a way to justify doing what you want to do. And that is the behavior that got us in the condition in the world that we are in. Because instead of Adam saying to God, yes, I messed up. Yes, I bit the apple. He told God, the woman you gave me, she the one that made me bite the apple. And because he couldn't hold himself accountable for his infraction, everybody was kicked into hell. When we don't go by the rules and laws that we set as a committee, if it were not for God out there, everything would have went awry. Everything. So when people are not a part of it in the inner circle, their words do not matter. I'm teaching you God knowledge. You can take it or you can leave it, but I'm going to get it off my chest now. I got to, because I got to tell you what God, this ain't something that just came to me. I've been in tune with God for over 35 years, and I don't move until he say move. And when I move out of line, I get caught up. I wanted to bring you all in, the young people. I wanted the rap on the program because God said, bring the young and old together. But somebody whispered because somebody told somebody else, oh, the rap don't start till 6. And people came out setting up after we were leaving. Now, how do you think that looks when they're waiting for a show that ain't gonna never happen? No DJ, no flat bed, no rap. But we had over $20,000, $35,000 worth of equipment for you to get up on the stage and practice your craft. And you say thanks, but no thanks. How many of you ever performed on a stage like that? I ain't talking about no 2-bit dive in a club somewhere where you bouncing around with the weed and the liquor. How many of you had a chance to perform in the front of people who would have bought your music and take your performance and talk about you to others? Latoya Denise, I promise you, she's gonna have at least 5 gigs from that performance she did on that stage. Every place I go, who was that young lady singing? Who was the drummer? Who was the keyboard player? Who was the guitar? That's what it was supposed to be. Us together. Together. If you didn't like me, you should have just said, I don't want to do nothing with that nigga. I would have kept going because God said to go. But please don't do that snake stuff. Whoever did it, don't. Not to. I don't deserve that. I don't deserve it. And you're going to pay for that because it looked horrible that you promised these people they were going to rap and the DJ and the flat, and none of it was there. That's a bad look. That's a bad look. But all we had to do is stand together, unified as we said we were, and everything would have went smooth. Now, I'm not calling no names. I know how you young folks are. You want to get mad at somebody and take it out on somebody, but please don't take it out on me. I have a right to voice my opinion. I really do, because you talked behind my back. All of you, whoever did it, you plotted that behind my back. But I'm saying it on live. So who's the bad person? That stage was for all of us. Now I'm going to stop with that. I thank everyone who came out, everyone who enjoyed yourselves, to all the politicians and the representative, the NAACP, the voter registration. And I got voter registration packets that I'll be giving out very soon to everyone. If you have not registered to vote yet, they didn't find it robbery to leave that information with us. And we're going to make sure that each one of those packets gets in the hands of individuals. We're handing them out already. Everybody, I see you. You voting yet? You got to take this packet, take this packet, right? I am telling you how powerful unity is. And if you don't understand that, look at the Mexicans, how they're coming and taking over. Just bought the corner diner from what I understand. And they're going to rebuild it because they work together. You laughing at them because it's a busload of them, but all of them are working together. White folks know. White folks are terrified. We don't have sense enough to be terrified. We think as long as we got some Section 8 and a little trailer or something out in the woods where we can play music and smoke weed, we in heaven. But you're going to have another thing coming. According to what God has shown me, you want to be gangster, the real gangsters are here. The cartel are here. Slip up on their money and find out if they ever find your body. And if they find it, it won't have a head on it. This is the Juneteenth part 2. I didn't make a mistake. Now, I told you, according to what I was told, that I said that Miss Opal Lee, who is considered to be the grandmother of Juneteenth, who walked 1,400 miles. Of course, she didn't walk all of the miles because she's 89 years old, but she would stay in a hotel, ride a little bit, get out and walk a little bit. She wanted to get to Washington, D.C. in 2009 to see President Barack Obama in hopes that the black president would sign into law the Juneteenth official federal holiday, but he didn't do that. And then I made a statement that President Barack Obama was busy with the LGBTQ community, I remember. And then I said, those are my people. I hope y'all remember that too. Because I want to read the statement and then we're going to be done because I got a lot to do. This is the statement by the president on the observance of Juneteenth. This was done in June 19th of 2015 by Barack Obama. I'll read it as quickly as I can, then I'm going to close. Thank everyone that tuned in on Instagram. I thank everyone that's tuning in on all of my other platforms, and I hope you will share this. And I hope no one don't take this as some wild animal trying to make some point. But we agreed. We agreed as a group, as a collective. Catrice, Renee Fulton, and Antoine Fulton and I agreed that we would try to sell donuts. When she got that form and gave it to me, we went to work. And we raised $162 in 6 days. Almost enough to pay for the horses. Because she asked, do you think we can sell donuts? And I said, I don't know anything about the donuts, but if you think we can, go ahead and I will help. I kept my word because she is valuable. She is valuable. Her and Antoine are valuable. You don't break your word. That ain't gangster. You a liar. You're not a gangster. The code must be carried through to the end. And all of the gangsters are in prison because of somebody that ran with them. We work together. Barack Obama, these are his words and we're closing. On this day, 150 years ago, more than 2 years after President Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, the slaves of Galveston, Texas finally received word that the Civil War was over. These are Barack Obama's words. I quote it. They were free. A century and a half later, Americans still recognize this occasion. Juneteenth as a symbolic milestone on our journey towards a more perfect union. At churches and in parks lined up for parades and gathered around the barbecue pit, communities come together and celebrate the enduring promise of our country that all of us are created equal. Yet this year, our celebrations are tinged with sorrow. Our prayers are with the 9 members of the Mother Emanuel, 9 members of our American family whose God-given rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness was so cruelly snatched away. Our hearts go out to their families, their friends, and the entire city of Charleston. We don't have to look far to see that racism and bigotry, hate and intolerance are still all too alive in our world. Just as the slaves of Galveston knew that emancipation is only the first step towards true freedom. The emancipation is only the first step towards true freedom. That's why some people say free-ish. We're not there yet. So we are partying talking about we're free. How can you be free when you're a slave to liquor? You're a slave to weed. You're a slave to violence. You're a slave to sex. You're a slave to your own impulses. We're not free. It's the intent to become free collectively. And I'm still in Barack Obama's words. Just as the slaves of Galveston knew that emancipation is only the first step towards true freedom, just as those who crossed the Edmund Pettus Bridge 50 years ago knew their march was far from finished, our work remains undone. Don't party too hard. Don't start to lying and backbiting and slicking and sliding. We're not there yet. Never mind the people who got a big mouth but don't do nothing. They're not the same as those of us who do something. I don't go around crying for pity. I'm asking for help. The people, Greg Martin, his wife, my family, we ask for help. We don't sit, man, that dude, man, he always, man. Nah, no. You get up, you keep your word. I'm telling you, young people. You all are mistreating your mamas, your daddies, your elders, and got babies and think because you got them around you and they already half brain dead because you're smoking marijuana around them, and marijuana changes the DNA. It's a fact. And a child's brain is not fully developed until they're 25 to 30 years old. That's a fact. So you may think you got it down pat your way, but all you're doing is being a slave to your own desires, and your children will suffer for it. We are 2 generations behind in our growth. Economists predict that by the year 2075 or 45, we will be the poorest people on the planet. You're confused when you're under Section 8. You're not paying full price. You're confused when you get a loan for a home. It's not yours yet. You're confused when you get a new car. It's not yours yet. And by the time you pay for it, the value has dropped. You're confused by the way the world presents itself. But this is Satan's world. We don't have anything. If you like my bonbon in my hat, my niece just did this for me. She does them. This is my JuneTeenth original. She's going to do me a sleeve too. Now let's finish with this. 50 years ago, knew their march was far from finished. Our works remain undone. For as long as people still hate each other for nothing more than the color of their skin, and so long as it remains far too easy for dangerous people to get their hands on a gun, we cannot honestly say that our country is living up to its highest ideals. But JuneTeenth has been a celebration of victory or an acceptance of the way things are. JuneTeenth has never been a celebration of victory or an acceptance of the way things are. Instead, it's a celebration of progress. See, you can't go forward and then fall back. 1 step forward and 2 steps back is not progress. We took 10 steps forward by what we did out there in Sugar Hill on June 17th. But we took about 4 steps backward when we broke our word. But JuneTeenth has never been a celebration of victory or an acceptance of the way things are. Instead, it is a celebration of progress. It is an affirmation that despite the most painful parts of our history, things do get better. America can change. So no matter our color or our creed, no matter where we come from or who we love, today is a day to find joy in the face of sorrow, to count our blessings and hold the ones we love a little closer. And tomorrow is a day to keep marching, end quote. That is what Barack Obama said about JuneTeenth after the Charleston massacre with Dylann Roof when he was there. But Opal Lee, the grandmother of Juneteenth, went to D.C. when he was first elected to present him with the possibility of Juneteenth becoming a federal holiday, and it was not done. It was done under President Joe Biden. And Juneteenth is not a recognized state holiday in South Carolina, just as the hate crime bill is not a recognized state holiday in South Carolina. Do you understand me? I think that's all I wanted to say. I pray that, I want to thank everyone so much for your love and sincerity. And people are still stopping in their cars and saying what a great time they had with us on Sugar Hill on June 17th. But there is a scar there that will always be there, because God said to get the young and the old on the same stage, the different music genres on the same stage. I had Warren Dingle. We had Warren Dingle with the and he showed up with the Southern soul music. Myself with old school hip hop and R&B. My son Brian Lufada was going to do the house music, and then DJ Mike Whitfield, and he didn't show up. But we did flyers saying that everyone would show up. And the least you can do when you know you're not coming somewhere is to tell the person you're not going to be there. See, that's why we don't advance, because there's a way business is conducted, and you all are trying to reinvent the wheel. Don't matter that you don't like me talking. I understand. I didn't grow up with a father either, but I grew up with the desire to have one. And I grew up with the love of wanting to be one. Ask my children what I did for them. I sacrificed jail for them. I went in the face of Satan for them. I went to court for them. I pulled guns for them. I was accused of strong-arm kidnapping and crossing city lines for them. But that's how important being a father was to me. I ain't gonna never stop being a father. When I'm dead, that'll be the end of it. But when I'm talking to you young people, I'm not trying to impress you with what I'm saying. I'm not trying to test your gangster or what you think you know. I present it in a way that says, do you think we can make this happen? And if you say yes, and you renege on that, you're not being a man and you're not being a woman. That is not how this works. Your word is your bond. And that's how we are taught in Islam. You die before your word fails. You die. Your word is that important. In the beginning was the word, and the word was God, and the word was with God. The word. When you give your word, don't let anyone shake you from that, because there's a consequence. Adam gave his word and he lied and then tried to cover it. And because of that, we still in hell. And according to the book of Revelations, God got to destroy all of this because we ain't even want to come out of it. Do the right thing. Stop listening to these scrubs who trying to change things when we already got together and say what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. You can't imagine how great it was going to be to have another stipulation that we had was no drugs or alcohol under the tent, no profanity in your rap, and no N-words, no derogatory statements. That was for you all. Because you're sending your music to these record executives and to these radio stations. They're not going to play that garbage with all that cussing in it. Y'all are nobody. I call myself Mr. Nobody. You don't even have the common courtesy to do a clean version, a radio version, a instrumental, a acapella, and what they call a mix. That's what you're supposed to do when you have profanity in your music, so that you can give the clean version. Now you done spend all your money doing the dirty version, and now someone is offering you an opportunity to perform, and you can't even do it. You can't make the money back because Everything is dirt. Everything don't have to be filthy. How gangster do y'all want to be? How tough? I mean, y'all just too damn tough. We get it. But God is tougher. I didn't want to come back here when I died, but God sent me back anyway. JuneTeenth Part 2, the Sugar Hill Experience. It was beautiful. Guess what we got for the next time when we do something? So much stuff. We already started asking for help and getting things in order. I ain't even going to tell you what it is, man, but we're moving. But man, when you all get angry with me for trying, that pisses me off and it breaks my heart. Because I want you to step back and look at what was done and ask yourself, could you do it? And if you could, would you do it? I didn't get paid for that. We didn't get paid for that. That was from the soul. And it was beautiful. And I thank everyone, no violence, no nothing. There was a situation where cars were parked around someone's home, and guess who they came to? Me. I'm going to call the police on them if they don't get out of here. I said, don't call the police. I'll talk to them. Over 20 people. I went over there and I told them, look, man, this is somebody's house. Y'all can't be around. Y'all know I did it. Y'all know I did it because I don't want to see young folks go to jail over some nonsense. Just do the right thing. That's all. And all of them moved. All of them moved. All of them moved. You know I'm telling the truth, man. Don't lie on the name of the people who are trying to do right. Thank you to all of our contributors. You know who you are. I'm not going to call your name again. Thank you to, and it's for a reason, because I don't want people just doing some willy-nilly something and coming to y'all trying to get funds or donations and then pocketing the money and all that other stuff. Thank you to Ms. Palladino, District Representative, District 64, Representative, the Senate. Thank you to Ms. Julia Nelson for getting us in the paper. Mayor Julia Nelson, the very first Black female mayor of Clarendon County, of Clarendon County. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to Greg and Barbara they left that tent in that field for a month and 2 weeks because I asked them. After we did the gospel, after we did the revival, I asked them, do you think we could use the tent for JuneTeenth? They left it there. You know how much money they lost by leaving that there for us? Brought the sound system. You know how much those speakers and sound set it up? Greg Martin built did y'all get to ride on the hayride? Greg built that. The safety rails, the hay, everything. He did that. Ask me if he charged anything. No. Nothing. Nothing. And we still out there taking down the tent. That's love, man. Greg Martin, Barbara Martin, the House of Hope, Jamil Salib Zamir and my family, Groove 19 Promotion, No Ego Customs, Patience, Shelton, Patience has Nocturnal with the lot. She sells the shirts. Catrice, Antoine, Fulton. They had to go out of town, but they did all they could before they left. James Conyers, Miss Et Conyers, all the gospel groups, all the people who came and supported, all the vendors. Are you kidding me? All out of love. And it was out there. It was out there. MLK riders at the last minute, man, brought 3 horses. 3. Wow. Never done before. Never. Nothing has ever been done like that before on that property on Sugar Hill. But we did it for our ancestors. So So we got some things we got to tweak. Don't let anybody make you break your word, especially somebody who ain't doing nothing. Don't change the blueprint at the last minute. Stick to the script. Somebody messed y'all up on this code thing, man. Y'all are not following the code at all. I am not in the street, but I promise you I'm more on code than 95% of you. I promise you that I am on code, streetwise, and I'm not out there than 95% of you. It was a great opportunity for you rappers to come up, do clean music, get the crowd participation, practice your skill, because y'all don't even know how to perform on a stage. You really walking around like you trying to kill somebody. You wouldn't make it if you did sign a contract. You would be off the label. You would go triple, quadruple wood. You wouldn't sell nothing. But you have to practice your skill. In closing, Alicia Keys, when Clive Davis found Alicia Keys, he didn't sign her immediately. He took her to little sleazy dives, and she had to perform in them places to get her skill level up. Then he signed her. Y'all ain't going nowhere. And if you do, you coming right back. You're coming right back. I think we're done. I wanted to get this done before 12 o'clock. I wanted to do it on Juneteenth. And yeah, we read the statement. So I thank all of you for tuning in. I sincerely, hey, how are you? Hey, thank you, Miss Jackson. My niece made this hat. My niece made this hat. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. She made it according to my request. This is my hat, and she's gonna make me a sleeve. And I posted up the pictures of her giving me the hat, but I'll show it later. Thank you. She makes these. She knit these custom. So she can knit things, earrings, pocketbooks, halter tops. She can knit those, underwear, the whole thing. She does it all. But this is my hat. These are my horn rim glasses. And this is me. I don't mind being different. So thank you all for tuning in. Lord have mercy. I pray that I said everything I was supposed to. Thank you, everyone who contributed and participated. And if anyone caught on video me talking about sleep, vision, General Gordon Granger and Miss Opal Lee, please send me that video, because I didn't even have time to come home and get dressed. 11 hours straight, and I got into a frustrated type of panic, which I do when I get frustrated, and I literally don't remember much of that day. My wife had to tell me about the day, tell me what went on. And then I looked on the internet today, and someone had shared a picture of the Sumter Volunteers. And I said, oh, they were supposed to be on the show. They didn't show up either. So, yeah. All it takes is a phone call. I won't be able to make it. Because, see, you want things that you do to go perfect. And when someone doesn't do you right, it's the end of the world. But you don't have a problem doing other people wrong. For all of you that think I'm a father figure and I think I know everything, you wait until you have children, and you trying to teach them how to maneuver through life, and they saying yes, sir, and no, sir, but going against what you say. There's a story in the Bible just like that. The prodigal son, because the father asked one son to do something, and he said he would do it and didn't do it. Then he asked the other son to do it. He said he wouldn't do it, but he did do it. And then one son says, I want all of my riches now. I want my stuff. And he took his stuff and went on about his business, spent all his money, and had to come back to his daddy. That may be two stories in one that I'm telling, but yeah, everything that's happening now, the reason I understand it is because it's in the Bible. And I've read that book over 100 times in the last 35 years. I don't understand it all, but I understand enough of it to see that that book is talking about us, each individual. But when you say you're going to do something, don't let nobody shake you on that. Thank y'all for tuning in. Jamil Salib Zamir. Lord, please let this be everything I had to say. Manning, South Carolina.
Thank you. Thank you so very much for tuning in to this month installment of the 19 Report. I am your host, Brother Johnny. I walked a thin line between right and wrong. Took my fears to God, then I wrote this song. The spirit kept calling, so I answered the phone. And then I manned up and got some backbone. My mind resonates at a much higher tone. Solid foundation, empire zone. 3 mountains, I'm in one, right to left counted, 9 and then 1, left to right switch it, 1 and then 9, west to east, south to north, a thin line. I know Christ exists, cause his mercy allows me a chance to stand 3 on a square. Yeah, we in there. This is Brother Johnny of Groove 19 Promotions.